In this week's weekly video fishing forecast, I hit the beach with Alex Samay from St. Croix and discuss what gear to use on albies and striped bass. Also see what spaghetti and fishing have in common. And our correspondents check in from around.
The fishing news is sponsored by these fine partners.
Last week, Hurricane Larry passed well offshore, but the swells that were produced made it difficult to get out past the inlets to fish. To see if this weekend will be any better, let's check in with News 12 meteorologist Rich Von Ohlen. Rich?
All right, thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone, let's check that weekend forecast, see what we got going on here. You can always check your favorite websites, favorite apps, favorite weather tools. This is a general heads-up, general overview on the upcoming weekend. So we start again, water temps throughout the island, holding in the 70s. Kind of a warm week we had. Summery weather continued. In terms of wave height, Saturday is going to be the lumpier day, the rougher day. We've got a tropical type system offshore, some big swells coming in, some rollers 4 to 8 feet. So watch out, probably a small craft advisory in the ocean on Saturday. Sounds okay. The better day of the weekend in terms of waves, wind, and safety will be Sunday as things start to settle down. Looks like 2 to 4, 4 to 8's way offshore. The winds will go a little lighter. I think Sunday is going to be the pick of the weekend if you want to do some ocean fishing. And there's a look at the futurecast on Saturday, and the winds a little gusty from the north, about 10 to 20. So it's going to be a little choppy as well as rolly in the ocean. So just be aware of that. Kind of a confused sea. Saturday a little rougher day, but then the winds drop Saturday evening, Saturday night. Looks better on Sunday. Light and variable northwest breeze going southwest in the afternoon, and I don't see much chances of rain either. So that looks pretty good. I'm going to watch a tropical system. Always check that National Hurricane site. This may be Odette. We'll see how things kind of develop. But, any case, though, it looks like it's curling out to sea and shouldn't affect us directly. But, again, some big swells and waves. High tide Saturday, North Shore for a mid-morning, South Shore early morning. 75 to 80 both Saturday and Sunday for temperatures. Looks okay. Check out that guru quickly. There's your Saturday. And there's that gusty breeze from the northeast till about 10, 11 a.m. So these waves will be up there, too, with some swells coming in about 3 to 5 feet. Sunday looks better for the ocean. This is the day you can probably get out. Northwest 5 to 15, settling down for the afternoon, and the waves aren't too bad. So again, pick this weekend. I would say Sunday a little better. Both days fishable, but just be careful on Saturday. Have a great weekend. Catch 'em up. Matt, back to you.
This past week, I had the opportunity to fish out in Montauk with Captain John Padawano of Premium Charters. We set out for a mix of species that included bluefish, sea bass, fluke, and stripers. While we fulfilled our goal of catching all of them, we also were able to plant 7 spaghetti gray fish tags in fish from 37 to 49 inches. Gray Fish Tag Research is a non-profit organization with a fully interactive fish tagging program powered by the world's largest network of fishing professionals, consisting of approximately 10,000 charter boat captains and mates. The Fisherman has done some extremely interesting satellite tag research work, and if you're interested in reading about it, click on the card in the top right. While we're on the subject of Montauk, let's check in with Captain Timothy O'Rourke. Tim.
Thank you, Matt. Well, greetings again, everybody from out here in Montauk. As everybody knows, last weekend fishing was pretty tough. We had some serious surf going on from probably Thursday afternoon to about Saturday midday. Thanks to Hurricane Larry put on a big swell out here. Unrelated to fishing, I gotta say, probably some of the biggest waves I've ever seen from a surfing standpoint. Pretty spectacular stuff coming in here on Friday. But unfortunately, it shut down the fishing. So basically, still some good striped bass fishing around. Guys are kind of moving a little further east from the point, but they're still getting some nice keeper-sized fish. False albacore becoming a little bit more erratic as far as light tackle and fly fishing goes. They're still around. You'll see pods popping here and there, but it's not the really good false albacore fishing you'd want. Another week or so, we should probably see these fish move in when the weather starts getting a little colder and things get better. Still some decent-sized schooly little bass around, up to just under keeper size. I had Vaughn Cotillo on the boat the other day. He's getting married this weekend. Vaughn's from Montauk Brewing. I'd like to wish Vaughn a congratulations on getting married this weekend. Sea bass, fluke, porgies, still plenty of stuff in the bay. No problems catching some fish. Whether you're inside or outside or fishing the elbow or Great Eastern, you're going to do pretty good on that stuff. Offshore report, a lot of big fish around. I don't have any pictures from the Viking this week, but the Star was out, like I mentioned last week, They came in, they had 2 swordfish over 125 pounds. They had 3 rods on the boat that were spooled. Totally and completely just stripped all the line off the reels. So there's some big fish around. They had a bunch of yellowfin, big mahis, and they did a combination tuna and tile trip. So they had some nice barrel fish and nice tile fish as well. Any of those pictures you can check out on their website, and there's a more detailed report. The Star is also on its way back in tomorrow, so I should have that report next week. A couple local boats. They're not going too far from Montauk. They're going out just south of between Montauk Point and the canyon. Still getting some decent mahi-mahi, still getting some decent sized yellowfins, a couple wahoo in the mix. So things are looking pretty good on the offshore report. So definitely get out there. I'd like to take a moment and remind everybody about our Castoberfest, which is coming up October 3rd. On-lawn Sage Fly Rod Demo Day. A lot of great raffle prizes. That's going to be October 3rd, which is a Sunday from 2 to 7. I'd like to thank Grundon's Foul Weather Gear. They just supplied us with a whole bunch of raffle prizes for this day. We're going to have a Sage Fly Rod, Van Stahl pliers, bunch of fly equipment, and some other stuff. So definitely check us out. All right, Matt, I'm going to get it back to you. Everybody enjoy your weekend.
This week's surf report will be a little different. Let's see what St. Croix has in their arsenal to target our fall species. Guys, I'm here with Alex Samay from St. Croix. We're going to do a little fishing. We're going after albies. We're going after bass. Alex has got his albie rod right here. Just you want to explain the rod, the action, what you're throwing, why you're throwing that to everybody out here?
Yeah, so we're throwing little 3/4 ounce hoagie epoxy jigs to match the bait that's out here. It's mostly rain bait. So it's the right profile, it's the right weight to get out to where we need to go. Hopefully they'll show up and we'll have a shot at them. But the rod that we're using to get out to where these fish are when they do show up is a 9-foot medium light Siege, which is brand new for 2022. It's a lighter weight rod for throwing these light jigs, so the opportunity to get out and reach them is going to be better than if you're fishing like a 7-foot rod or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the albies show up today, but we got some bass stuff with us too. So what I'm doing is I'm working top water. Yozuri Mag Popper, I'm using the 10'6" Legend. It's rated 1 to 6. You know, you're around some rocks. You want to keep the fish out of the rocks. Don't want to let them get in there and break you off. There's been some fish around. A lot, you know, there's been a good amount of bass around the North Shore over here. Some teen-sized fish hitting top water at sunrise and sunset. Some fish after dark on swing plugs as well. In the mix is some bluefish too, so that always keeps things interesting. And there's also been the albies around, like we mentioned. We're going to try and see some albies if they do pop up. Unfortunately, the South Shore hasn't seen too many albies. Montauk has seen a few. There's been some bass at Montauk after dark, some better fish, especially after dark. During the day, you got a shot at some schoolies. South side, north side bucktails, around the inlets of some schoolies as well, so that makes things a lot more interesting. Fall's right around the corner. Give it a couple weeks, we'll see what happens. Like I said, maybe we get some steady weather instead of these storms, and we'll get a good shot at fish. I noticed fish up north, so we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, we got some fishing to do, so let's go get them.
Let's go.
From Sag Harbor, we have the East End Anglers.
Thanks, Matt. Report this week out of Sag Harbor. Bottom fishing has still continued to really produce. We've seen a good sea bass bite and some good fluking kind of off of Montauk. In addition, we've seen some cod, which are really starting to show up this fall, so that's going to be great. Albies and stripers are also continuing to make a showing, and that light tackle is super fun, especially going to fall.
And the shipping lanes south of Montauk have been holding strong with the Gulf Stream warmer water still hanging around. We've been hearing reports of mahi being caught, you know, relatively 10 even miles south of shore. As long as you find the logs, you find the pots. And there have been fish even caught up to 40 pounds, so really sizable fish. So really, you know, keep at it, stay out there. And back to you, Matt.
From Shinnecock, let's check in with Mike Dean. Mike?
Thanks, Matt. Hey, everyone. Fishing hasn't been too tremendous in the last week, you know, between the swell kind of killing the fluke bite, the wind making conditions very tough for a lot of boats to get out, and trying to find clean water both on the beach and to an extent on the bay side as well. A lot of seaweed also kind of being a bit of a nuisance, but there are some fish around. I've gotten into a couple of small bass, small blues back in the bay, throwing poppers and spooks, you know, right around those marshy areas that I keep mentioning. Still a lot of bait in there, a lot of mullet, which is good. So definitely try to kind of favor the blue and white kind of color patterns on stuff that you're throwing. You know, we'll see with this wind kind of going east and, you know, things being kind of choppy, at least it looks like it for this weekend. Could also mix things up and we could really see those bass start to move. little bit of colder temps coming as well. So in terms of the offshore bite, like with these conditions, haven't really heard much. It still seems that those boats that have gotten out had a little better luck with the mahi than tuna. A couple of small bluefin and yellowfin caught as well. Fluke bite, only a couple of weeks left of that, but this swell kind of killed that bite at least over the weekend. So we'll see when the waters calm down, and hopefully these winds lay down a little bit, what happens there. Sea bass, same thing. A couple of people that did get out were rewarded, and obviously have the bigger bag limit there. So we'll see. This weekend I'm going to go after it, regardless of the east wind or not. Hopefully get into some albies in Shinnecock Inlet. They have been going through sporadically, nothing really all that dependable or predictable, like, a little bit deeper into the fall run. So I'll keep you posted on that. Any questions, any fishing stories you want to share, don't hesitate to reach out either in the comments below or on social media. And I'll talk to you next week. Back to you, Matt. Thanks.
Now let's get an update on the Dreamboat contest with Tim C. Smith.
Some serious Dreamboat activity from Long Island. This week, Joseph Yam moves up from 3rd place to 2nd place with the entry of his 6.48 pound weakfish. But the larger weakfish entry came in from Ryan Murphy, also from Long Island, with a 7.25 pound, putting him in the 4th place entry in weakfish. A 2nd place 3.5 pound sea robin was entered in by Andreas Brundler, and a 2.9 pound sea robin was entered in by Mark Zaliski. Rhode Island checked in with a 9.4 pound tog from Luca Raza. Where is Jersey? Well, maybe next week. The Dreamboat Fishing Challenge is the Fisherman subscriber-only multi-species fishing competition with the chance to win a new Steiger Craft Center console powered by Yamaha, along with many other great prizes. Subscribe now to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the action.
With our fly and freshwater report, we have Paul McCain from River Bay Outfitters.
Hello, Matt. Hello, Tim. I owe you an apology. I had a great report last week and I forgot to hit send. I was out in Montauk. It was a terrific time. I was out as a guest of Jim and also Bill, and they took me out with Captain Tim O'Rourke. We had a terrific time. Captain Tim O'Rourke, it was windy, but he worked his butt off to find us fish. We had stripers and bluefish. Could not find the albacore, but it was a great time. I actually fished from the beach, caught a lot of snappers on a fly rod. I also caught my first blowfish on a fly rod, so it was a great time. As far as freshwater scene, I'm here. The river was very high last week at the Connecticut. It's still high, but clear. A lot of fish in the river. I'm here guiding today. I'm with a father and son. They each had nice fish. They learned a lot of new techniques. That's what a good guide does. He takes you out and he teaches you. We had a terrific time. As far as the saltwater by my house, it's weakfish. Weakfish are in the deep holes, waiting. You got to go out at night if you want to target them with a fly rod. Stripers are starting to move back in with the cooler weather. Also, bluefish. We're actually having a really good run of bay blues. And of course, if you really want a lot of fun, get out those 6 weights and go after the snappers. They're getting bigger now. So get out while you can, because with this beautiful weather, you know what's coming. So tight lines, everybody.
From Fire Island area in Great South Bay, let's check in with Captain Al Lorenzetti.
Hey Matt, Fire Island report. Things are looking pretty good. A few things, different things to report. A lot of Spanish mackerel showed up. They were bouncing. You see them flying out of the water, chasing all of the spearing down by the inlet area. So make sure you got light spinning gear with a little cripple herring on it, a little fluorocarbon leader, and you can hook up with these fish, and they're a lot of fun. They're good eating too. Pretty decent fluke bite as well around the Moses Bridge Coast Guard Station to the lighthouse. It was pretty decent. Neighbor of mine had a 5-pound fish in there, so that's also something to keep an eye on. And there's still a weak fish bite. Slowed a little bit from like last week, but they're still being caught. You know, West Channel, Ocean Beach, all through that area. So there are plenty of things to fish for. A lot of small bluefish on surface plugs in the back bay, and no sharks this week. But anyway, a lot of good things happening, and that's about it. I'll talk to you next week, Matt. Catch them up, have fun.
From Northport, we have Mark McGowan from Sag Harbor Bait and Tackle.
There's so many bait fish of all different sizes, rain baits, peanut bunker from 1 inch, 2, 3, 4 inch, right up to adult size. We have many adults that they're swimming around. I'm suspecting maybe they're spawning again. That's why there's so many bunker. If you notice, the bunker's almost like spawning like 2, 3, 4 times a year now, and that's why we have so many different classes of bunker. And but the importance of that is that's why the snappers are in. There's loads of bait that a 4-inch snapper can eat. The weak fish are in because they love those 3, 4-inch profile baits. The fluke come in because they love those 3, 4, and juvenile 6 to 8 inch baits. So there's all different scale type of fish that'll come in. I'm talking about the bluefish and the striped bass, of course, as well. So a lot of opportunity here. We're coming off the moon, tons of bait. The water temps have dropped again. We're seeing an earlier sunset, so that gives you more time to get out of work and hit that sunset. Really try to figure out your winds to know which beach is the beach that you want. So if I were you and you're on the beach, I would be over places like the Nessequag River. That's where I kept in my ComSet pass. I'd be looking at Diamond Point, looking in the rocks. These fish are stirring. They're here, and they're just waiting for the right presentation to get out there and get on the end of the hook for somebody. If you're into porgy, wow, forget about it. Just go anywhere. Use your worms, your clams, put them on a jig. It works as well. They're porgies. They're underwater seagulls. Just treat them right. There's a lot of sea robins out there still. Forget about cutting them. Throw them back in the water. They have a purpose. Maybe we haven't figured it out yet. So don't start throwing them in the garbage can, leaving them on the beach. That's just unnecessary and unethical. If you're on the beach, this is really important. I got to tell everybody, it's more and more surf casters, right? We're all getting together, we're all excited. Sometimes the fish are like tight on a certain spot. Common courtesy is a great thing to know. If you're a new guy and you're a little hesitant, try not to be pushy. This is not the internet. You're not typing behind a computer. You're on the beach face to face with another guy, and you're nudging up. Gets a little hot-blooded out there. Don't be offended. It's part of the sport. You got to earn your notches on the fishing pole. You know what I'm saying? So get out there, practice your common courtesy. If you're on a jetty and someone's casting, don't walk behind them. Don't stand behind them and wonder what's going on. If you see a fly fisherman, be well aware the guy needs maybe a 40-foot radius. And if you're a fly fisherman, don't show up to the beach where there's 4 or 5 guys that have been surf casting and they're throwing plugs or whatnot, and now you decide to start fly fishing in the middle of them. People, they say things and it's understandable. Just try to say it in the right way. And again, spread your common courtesy. Courtesy is contagious, and that's what fishing is. Fishing's contagious, and that's why we do it. We love it, and when it all comes down to it, we all love each other. Until next week, I bid you all peace and tight lines.
Dave Anderson of the New England Fisherman has an update on the Coastal Kayak Clash. Dave.
This week in the Coastal Kayak Clash, it was all about Justin Oser. I think he took exception to losing the top spot last week because he came in strong with 2 category leading fish in blackfish and hardtail. His blackfish was 20 3/4 inches. His hardtail, which was a false albacore, was 27 1/4 inches, which is also good enough to lead, for now, the Fish of the Month category. There's still plenty of time left in the month to win Fish of the Month, and there's still lots of time left in the tournament to take the lead away from Justin. Get in your kayaks, keep those hooks sharp, and see what you can catch. We'll see you guys next week.
Let's check in with Chris Ludwig. Chris.
Hey, thanks, Matt. What's going on, guys? So this last week, the fishing has been great as far as salt and freshwater go. Let's start with the saltwater side of things. So in my local Back Bay area, it's been teeming with bait. There's been adult bunker, little bunker, peanut bunker, spearing. I almost want to say a couple little mullet too, but I'm not entirely sure. Point being is the bait is there and it's drawing these striped bass into this certain area. These bass, they've been pouring themselves all throughout these lights and onto these pilings, just attacking this bait. So we had a good couple nights under our belts throwing things like the no-live bait needed, little mullet, paddle tails, things of that nature on the dock lights and pilings, capitalizing on the striped bass. Also, as far as the saltwater goes, I've heard that there's been some bluefish, nicer sized ones, pushing into some backwaters more towards the west. A couple anglers have been getting onto those. I've been seeing them, and that's good to know too. So, in conclusion with that, it seems like the backwater is starting to come alive with a change in the fishery as we expected for this time of year. Moving forward, in my local area, there's been these carp that are starting to get fired up. They're feeding very aggressively on top. I'm not sure for what, but I had about 3 or 4 days where it became very easy to draw these carp into a bait, so I had to capitalize on that situation. I ended up landing my PB carp, so I'm happy about that. I'm going to get back at it today and try to stick another one, but it's very tough. Because when you're presenting these baits to them in a certain way, I'm only using bread, but it's all about the presentation. when you're presenting these baits to them a certain way, you only have about a shot or two at one of these fish. They come up to it, they try to eat it, and then they circle around and then they leave and you're on to the next one. But either way, it's fun. I hope everyone's been doing well. Take care, and I'll see you out there.
Remember to like our videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and tap on the bell to be notified instantly when we post a new video on YouTube. And of course, to be a subscriber to the Fisherman magazine to be part of the Dreamboat contest and Coastal Kayak Clash. Check out this video description on YouTube for all the related links and index for specific reports. Please support our correspondents by visiting their websites and social media pages. See you right here next week at thefisherman.com.
Steigercraft boats, built by people who fish our waters. Serious anglers choose Steigercraft for their 40 years of boat building experience right here in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Visit steigercraft.com for a dealer near you.